Hello, welcome to episode 34 of the Anders podcast. My name is James.
And my name is Daniel.
My name's Yan.
Today we're going to discuss yet another controversy of Taiwan. It is our energy policy. Energy policy. So I think all of you know, following the 311 Great Sendai Earthquake in Japan. There was a big earthquake in Fukuoka, in Japan.
In Fukuoka,
yes. And Taiwan has been rethinking its energy policies.
Yeah, because it's so near to our country, and
we are in the same disaster-prone area. You know, earthquakes are very bad, like in Japan and in Taiwan. Yeah. And Taiwan also has a lot of nuclear reactors. A couple of nuclear reactors.
3 or 4.
And we were very worried that they may be a problem to our people. Okay, but however, the environmental and energy benefits of a nuclear reactor is actually too great to really overlook, you know, the benefits of a nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
So it sparked a lot of, you know, everybody was talking about like whether we want to keep our our reactors, and it sparked a little bit of a controversy in Taiwan.
And some sub-controversies.
Yeah, and it's very much a political issue in Taiwan. Yeah. So today we're going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we think about nuclear power plants and some other issues. Okay. So let's talk about Taiwan's current nuclear power plants.
Okay.
So we have 4 nuclear power plants.
Yeah.
And within those, we have 8 nuclear reactors.
Inside these plants.
Every power plant has 2 nuclear reactors. And so power plant number 1 is actually deactivated already.
Oh, really?
So we already don't use that power plant.
So they just leave it there, or is there something?
I think they just closed it. It started its life in 1978.
Yeah, I think there's some radiation inside the plant.
I think they closed it last year in 2019.
Yeah. I've heard
and it is slowly, it will turn off at some point, right? You can't really turn a nuclear reactor off. You have to let it slowly, you know, right?
Like the half-life.
I've heard that you cannot
but you
really...
can remove the fuel bar.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you can remove the fuel bar, but the reaction will still go on for a bit, right?
It's just slowing down.
They just seal the fuel bar in the pool.
Oh, okay, they're cooling it right now.
Yes.
And so now we only have number 2 and number 3 that are still active. And number 2 was built in 1981.
Oh, it's old.
I think it will be deactivated in 2023. That's the plan.
Yeah, but originally I think it should be deactivated in
it shut down in 2016. There was a failure in the power plant.
Actually,
and people were very worried, so they shut it down. But in 2018, there was a problem with electricity during the summer. We had no electricity during the summer, so it was reactivated in 2018. Yeah. And number 3 was built in 1984, and it is estimated to be deactivated in 2025.
Yeah, still working? Yeah.
So within the next 5 years, Taiwan will not have any nuclear reactors, active nuclear reactors.
That's the plan, right?
That's the plan, yeah. And we also have number 4, nuclear power plant number 4, which was built from 1999.
It's a long time ago.
And they have it also had 2 reactors. And one is built, but not used, and the other one is still under construction. But they stopped the construction for number 2.
I think they decided to stop the construction because of the controversies talking about
there was
nuclear power
quite
plants.
a bit of controversy surrounding number 4, surrounding power plant number 4, and we're going to talk about that later. Okay. But now we want to talk about all the active reactors. They supply 5,025 million watts of energy. Every year. And it's about 19% of total Taiwan power.
I think that's
generated.
That's mostly the number of 19% of total power is kind of quite low.
Yeah, it's quite low.
In your imagination.
In Taiwan, we have 19% nuclear power.
Yes.
79% of thermal power.
Definitely.
And the rest 2% is regenerative energy. Yeah.
Actually, I've talked about energy issue with some of my friends. They're not mainly professional in this field, and most of them think about that Taiwan mainly rely on nuclear power. But actually we rely on thermal power.
It is a misconception that Taiwan relies a lot on nuclear power.
No,
but
actually not.
Even though even then, I think 20% is still a lot. 19% is still a lot of the energy.
You just can't take thermal into this game.
I think so you really cannot overlook the nuclear
numbers,
power in Taiwan. So the origins of the nuclear reactors was built in the petroleum crisis during the 70s in Taiwan, and actually it saved our economic economy. It saved our economy at that time because the government, building stuff from the government helps the economy.
And I think the energy powers the high tech industry in Taiwan.
I think
TSMC or
a lot of
some
also
MediaTek or some
also I think the ports.
The ports. The heavy industry.
The heavy industry for like Kaohsiung or
they're
something.
powered up by this.
It was very much a part of Taiwan's economic growth at the time.
Definitely.
And but now we're thinking like nuclear or thermal power, right? Or regenerative. So now it's mostly a three-way question. Right? What do you want to do with our power, right?
It's a choice you have to.
So what do you guys think? Right now it's still mostly nuclear and thermal, like I said. About 98% is these two, and the rest is regenerative. So what do you guys think? What do we want for the future?
Well, clearly we all know about the disadvantage of thermal power plants.
Yes, definitely air pollution.
Very very bad air, severe air pollution
in like middle Taiwan.
So ideally, I would like to reactivate the false nuclear power plants.
Actually, it's never been activated. So it would be the first time we activate. We built a power plant and we didn't use it. We never activated it. So
in that case, maybe we can reduce the amount of the percentage of thermal power plants.
So maybe like down the air pollution a bit.
And at the same time, maybe we can develop our regeneration power.
Develop our regenerative
power.
Regen
power is just like some fancy high tech but not practical actually in this time.
There are not very many opportunities in Taiwan for regenerative power. We have a couple dams that are generating power, and I think wind power.
Wind power,
but it's very restricted.
Solar,
only in some places we have wind power, and it's not really that effective.
And not that quite environmental friendly.
It causes some problems for the
birds or
noise residents. I heard it's a big problem. It's very noisy. And I heard it's not all that good. And solar power, obviously, in Taiwan. Not that much opportunity for solar power.
And the pollution, the process
with manufacturing the solar power, panels.
There's still under control, lots of controversies.
Still, I think regenerative power is still very young here in Taiwan.
Not mature enough to.
I think even in the world, it's the same. But it's like a future tech.
I think Taiwan is very influenced by like Germany. So we want to be like Germany, to shut down the reactors and have a lot of regenerative power. But we need to think about some of the restrictions that we have.
But they're in mainland. We're an island on the sea. There's no other.
And also, it was a very big point for the pro nuclear power plants. They said Germany is actually just close to France, and France is one of the biggest countries with nuclear power.
Definitely.
So they have the opportunity to buy electricity if something happens to the regenerative power plants. So, this is a very different situation here in Taiwan. So I do think we need to talk a bit more, discuss a bit more on this issue. So there was a lot of controversy surrounding nuclear power plant number 4, like I said, because there were some security concerns about the machine.
Yes.
And also, I think at that time, Chernobyl in 1986. For I think the older generation is Chernobyl. For us is the Sendai Earthquake in 2011. And so people were worried that Taiwan would have the same fate. If our earthquake hits Taiwan, maybe
it's like a catastrophe event
maybe
happening.
Some kind of things could happen to our power plants, which would be very devastating for Taiwan because we're so small of a country, and it would be very disastrous if something like that would happen.
But
I heard you went to the power plant, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you want to share maybe your experiences when you went to? I think you went to power plant 4. Number 4
and number 2.
Okay.
Oh, number 2.
Yes, when I was a high school student, I attended the camp held by Thai Power Company.
Okay, so what
So
did
our
you?
electricity
Yeah, our
power
power
Yes.
company. Yeah.
So I visited these two power plants. I was quite amazed by the equipment in these power plants. The size of the generator is the generator is as large as a stadium.
Wow.
Wow,
That's
okay.
cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yes, that's really really tall and big.
Yeah.
Also, I think a lot of talents that they have, their
Yeah,
engineers
engineers.
are
Yes.
maybe from our school.
Yeah,
Because our
yeah,
school
yeah.
was one of the first in Taiwan to research maybe nuclear power
At the
time, and it's still very much a part of our school.
we actually have a reactor
We have
in
a
our
small
school.
reactor in our school.
I've been to
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The
Really
first-
cool.
The
Really
And
first
we have-
reactor.
yeah.
Near the reactor, we have a radioactive pond,
Pond. Yeah.
and they really have signs that you cannot.
The warning
You
sign.
you cannot go inside the pond because
Yeah.
it's radioactive,
Yeah.
and it's for cooling. I think. Yeah.
Yes. Cooling water. Yeah.
Mhm.
Actually, during the camp, we got a chance to enter the control room.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
Not a real control room.
Yeah.
The control room for training.
Oh, for training. Okay.
Yes.
It's kind of a simulator, right?
Yeah, simulator.
That's cool. That was a
The
simulator.
whole
for
room
the
is,
control room.
is
Yeah.
filled with all kinds of buttons.
It's just
like
NASA.
Thousands of buttons.
control
Okay.
room of-
Yeah.
Thousands of buttons.
Yeah,
it's really
that's
cool.
So I think they emphasize a lot about the safety, right? They
Yes.
told you a lot about how safe nuclear power actually is. So
Yes. They
what
say,
do you think?
They told me that the location is carefully selected.
Yeah,
and the
yes,
whole
definitely.
emergency SOP
Procedure is
procedure.
very,
Strict. Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, I was convinced by the engineers in the camp.
Yeah.
I believe that
There wouldn't be any problem, even if there were an earthquake.
the catastrophe like the one in
Sendai.
Sendai is really is
Like approaching
the
zero
probability
chance to happen.
is really low.
It's really low.
yeah.
I think they also had some human errors
Yes.
during the Sendai earthquake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after the earthquake,
Mhm.
they modify the regulations
Yeah.
to solve this problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so actually, I think nuclear power, I think it's not that dangerous.
Yeah.
For me personally, I think it's not really that dangerous. I agree with what you said.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I visited the biggest thermal power plant in Taiwan,
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
which
Okay.
is located in Taichung.
Taichung. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was amazed by the mountains of the
Cloud, the
the
pollution.
the mountains of fuel.
Oh, coal.
The coal.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
coal, yeah.
They even have their own port to ship their own coal.
Yeah. They have.
Yeah.
And you will think of this. These mountains of coal will end up becoming carbon dioxide and being released to our atmosphere.
Yeah, it's very
yeah.
bad for the health.
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
But that's industry. That's
Mhm.
that's
We cannot live without electricity,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
We need. It's very hot here in Taiwan. We need air conditioner
Yes.
and a lot of that. So, yeah, you really can't get rid of these thermal
po-
plants,
yeah.
though you really do want to.
and this
right?
pollution. You have to
Yeah.
take both of them. Yeah.
The good and the bad. Yeah. But besides maybe the safety of nuclear power plants, we also think about maybe nuclear waste.
Yeah, that's a
nuclear
problem.
waste.
Because Taiwan is so small, you really
Yeah.
can't find like America in the desert. They put it in desert
Yeah,
somewhere.
desert, yeah.
We don't have that kind of luxury.
Hmm.
Yeah, like for
So-
previous governmental plans, they are planning to put all this waste. Store. They want to store in the
In
nuclear power
little
plants.
islands
Little island,
across
yeah,
Taiwan,
yeah.
and in mostly, I think it's not fair, but mostly
Yeah.
they put it in Aboriginal land.
Yeah.
So rural areas, so they put it there. Though I think that it is well regulated, so
Yes.
it's not that different from the common background, radiation we have. But still, you don't really want nuclear waste next door to your house, right?
Even if we know about the knowledge that the nuclear waste there is actually very, very low radioactive, or
We still
even
worry
there's
about
still
what
worry
might
about-
happen with it,
Yeah.
right? So
The-
that
the-
is
yeah.
a big safety concern.
The fear is still there. Yeah.
And a lot of people that are against nuclear power, actually, they use this as a very big reason why they're against nuclear power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
propaganda. Yeah.
And
they
which
have
is,
to-
I think, a very valid reason, though.
Yeah.
a very valid
For me,
reason.
it's valid too.
But then nuclear is really a cleaner energy
Yeah.
when compared to thermal power.
Yeah.
And it is effective. And so really Taiwan has a very difficult decision to make
Yeah.
because, we need the energy, but we also want it to be, not that harmful to the environment, right?
We have to take both benefits and the risks. Right?
Yeah. So I think all this controversy heightened in the 2018 referendum. So like we said last episode, we talked about same-sex marriage.
The 15 questions there.
In the referendum. So this is another one of the 15 questions. So there was this anti-nuclear law that was written by the DPP. I think
the current government.
The current government, they advocated this law. So this law is to shut down all the nuclear power plants before 2025.
Yes.
So by 2025, Taiwan will have no nuclear power plants, like we said.
20%.
Yeah, so 20% of energy gone.
Yeah. Yes.
So
that's a concern. Yeah.
So after the referendum, the result was landslide victory in support of nuclear power.
Yeah.
So people wanted nuclear power to be, continue to be used.
Yes.
And so this law was basically abolished by the people.
Yeah.
But actually, the way our country is going right now, DPP refused to change their original trajectory.
Yeah.
And I don't really know why that is possible. But basically, the referendum is not useful.
Yeah.
The result of the referendum was not.
It's systematically useful in the rules, but they just somehow
they found a way to negate this kind of
and just to continue on their plan.
Yeah. So by 2025, I think we will not have nuclear power.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. Because if suddenly we don't have any power, they would have to do something about it. Yeah. So we'll see. But right now, their philosophy is to maybe reduce the nuclear power.
Yeah. The bright future. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this sparks the discussion. Should this kind of issue be maybe decided by referendum? What do you guys think?
It's different from the same-sex marriage issue, right?
Yeah, because same-sex marriage is
about human rights.
It's about human rights, basic human
rules,
rights. You cannot really vote on that, right?
Yeah. But this is different.
Yeah, this is very different. But there is another reason that supports this shouldn't be decided by referendum. Right? So basically, I think this can be decided by referendum.
Can be.
Yeah, it can be decided by referendum, but I want to hear your thoughts. Yeah.
Well,
Daniel?
I think our power policy involves lots of knowledge about engineering.
Yes. It's a pro question.
Yes. So I think the best way to make the decisions is that let a professional to decide what's the best.
Okay.
But in the scenario that because our current government do not like nuclear power,
Yes.
and somehow the referendum seems to be the only way to
change this kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Change this thing.
So you're conflicted.
So I think the referendum is the last resort. Yes,
last resort. Okay.
Yes, last resort.
Okay, I understand. How about you? What do you think? Do you support this to be decided by referendums?
Personally, I don't because because engineering and also
so we should respect the professionals, right?
Yeah, I think this issue consists of both political part and both engineering part. Yeah. But both part are like the professional area for them to like voice up. So the value part, like the politics part, the value part, maybe partly can be decided by the not kind of referendum, but kind of like having a meeting with people or public
public hearing,
the voice leaders, But maybe most of the decision have to be made by the professionals and by those engineers, those those legislators or something. Yeah.
So the reason why I think this should be decided by referendum and not by professional advice is because if we decide a lot of things by professional advice, then a lot of the issues that we won't be able to take part in.
That's also true.
There is some worry that it might be, it might heighten the power of the government. In the end, maybe the people will lose a lot of the power,
the freedom as well.
Because politics as well is very professional. And so if we go down that route, I think maybe politics we taken over by professionals. That is a worry. But I think
I think that's true worry. Right?
Actually, we should have a lot of hearings. Before the referendums, we should have a lot of
discussion.
We should have a lot of discussion and a lot of knowledge to be made public to to everybody.
But I would say that the knowledge in this field is too hard.
Yeah.
Even if
Too complicated.
Too complicated. Even if we are in college and we're university students, we just understand a little bit part of it. Just like the common sense of the whole thing. It's hard to ask everyone to know about all these knowledge, the common sense of engineers.
Yeah,
So,
but I think a lot of people are doing like making data more accessible to people.
Yeah.
Right now, and maybe that will change that a little bit.
Yeah.
So we want to talk a little bit more about the future of nuclear power in Taiwan. Like we said, there will be deactivated before 2025.
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you support this decision? Do you support this decision for you guys?
Well, currently, our current government is trying to develop regeneration power.
Yeah.
If before 2025, the generation power can replace 20% power supply of which is generated from power plants.
Nuclear power.
I would say it's okay.
Okay. So if the electricity that we can produce stays the same, then you think it's okay to replace nuclear power?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. How about you?
For me, it's very complicated. I have to put it into several different topics, subtopics. I actually wrote an article about that.
Yeah.
But personally, I focus on the industry part. So I think their plan trying to promote regen is another goal of this plan is trying to promote
boost the industry.
The industry chain, I would say, the manufacturer chain.
Yeah.
So I will promote this plan for that part, and also for the because the electricity price in Taiwan is very low comparing to the whole world. So for these two reasons, I will promote their plan. But actually, I don't think they could manage to fill up they're trying to cover the 20% of nuclear power. They still have to manage to do something with
because
it.
Like in Hsinchu, we know a lot of the power goes to
high-tech
companies. And if we raise the price, maybe they won't be as competitive
as other
countries.
And the risks of those manufacturers will rise. Yeah.
I read your article. I don't see the government being that, I think is too big of a gamble.
Yeah.
I think for the time being.
That's true.
If you ask me, I think I would not support this decision. I would like them to, if they could really do the 20%, why not use the 20% to, reduce the thermal power?
Yes, that's also.
I really believe that instead of replacing nuclear power, we should replace thermal power for better health in the future. And this is very personal for me because lung cancer is very bad in Taiwan currently.
Yes.
In recent years, I think it's now the second most or first. I think for
lung. I think lung is second.
Second for Taiwanese people. First, I think it's intestine. Yeah, but second for all Taiwanese people, and especially high risk groups are middle-aged women.
Yeah,
and that is very very deep to my family because my grandmother and another family member both passed because of lung cancer.
Wow.
And so I really advocate maybe reducing thermal power instead of nuclear power. I don't see nuclear power being that much of a threat.
That's true.
But it's really frustrating for people like us right now, currently, because in Taiwan we have two big parties that fight for the government. Right? And so mostly when you want to decide who you want to vote for, it's mostly a package deal.
You can't just choose.
You can't choose like for specific issues you want to support specific parties because they're all packaged together. So it's very tough for us. We really don't support nuclear power, but we can't find a way to support the other party, and that is very hard for us right now. Hopefully we can find some way to change. I'm hopeful, but it definitely takes time. Right?
Maybe a new change in the systematic way of doing politics. But that takes very long time to.
It takes a lot of.
This issue, I would say.
Hopefully, they will replace nuclear power and also find some way to maybe lessen
the thermal power.
That is our hope. Okay. And I think that's about the time we have for today. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.